tell me a little bit about the willpower when things were going slow. And maybe this is your sales background, but I'm just curious because as someone that's trying to build a community of entrepreneurs with this podcast, it's a slow build. And I'm curious kind of what was that like for you?
Mm-hmm. So notice this whole story is 2017. Yeah. And I didn't leave my full-time job until June of 2019.
Got it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I like to tell people that I started a business in 2018 and I started making money in 2019. So I spent all of 2018, I tell people getting ready to get ready, right? Sometimes reading books and listening to podcasts and watching the webinars is also a really good stalling tactic.
Yes.
And there was a lot of that for me. It was a very slow burn, all the different things. So it was a very long journey, and not a very long journey. That's a lie. It took a year, but the internet promised it would happen in 5 minutes. So it felt like a long time.
Yep.
So, 2018 was just a really interesting year of figuring out who am I and who do I want to be and how to have a voice and how to help people. And I didn't have a framework. I didn't know what I was doing. And notice my whole niche started as I wanted to help young women better present themselves professionally. And I ultimately wound up being a sales coach. Right. And so I think you had asked me the question early on, like, how did you choose your niche of serving women? That's always been the case. But I actually think that the rush to niche actually handcuffs a lot of people, because ultimately when I finally started making money, it was when I stopped being so attached to like who I helped and how I helped them and what I wanted. And I just started talking to people and I was like, ooh, I can solve that problem. Ooh, I can solve that problem. Ooh, I can solve that problem. And I just started solving problems for people. I sold one-on-one coaching sessions and I sold 60 packages and I sold consulting packages. Like I just made it up for a very long time until I had worked with enough different people to be able to say, okay, this is who I want to serve. This is how I want to serve them. This is the framework that I'm going to walk them through. But it took me literally a year and a half to do all of that. So from early 2018 to my like career in life coaching to halfway through the years being like, those people, they're not yet problem aware and they don't have any money. So we're not going to serve them. But sales, I did see an opportunity in sales and sales consulting and building sales orgs, but I worked with all different types of people. I grossly undercharged for my services and all of those things. And I think it was just pure stubbornness at that point that I was just like, I'm just going to keep going, one foot in front of the other. It was also helpful that I had an income, right? My bills were paid. There was no pressure for the business to support me or my family. So I think that probably also helped with the persistence, right? I think a lot of people rush into quitting jobs and don't necessarily have that. And then it creates pressure in a not great way. And I'm not mad about that. I think to each their own. But for me, the business was not needed to pay the bills, right? It wasn't needed to pay the mortgage. It wasn't needed to pay for daycare. It wasn't needed to do those things. So I think that also, I don't know if that was a blessing or a curse, right?
Yeah,
did it make it a longer runway because I had this space, or did it give me opportunity to be creative and figure out what I wanted to do? Tomato, right? So fast forward, we get through 2018, we get to 2019. I finally start figuring out, I don't like serving clients one-to-one. I'm not really meant to be a done-for-you service provider. I don't have the attention to detail for it. I'm a really good strategist. I have excellent ideas, not awesome execution. And then I really got into, okay, this is knowing that I really niched down to helping women leave their 9-to-5s. Like those were my people, women who were successful in their careers and wanted to be successful in their business. I found that niche, but I found it through networking. I found it through talking to people. I found it through a lot of trial and error. And then ultimately decided that that's what I wanted to do. Developed a framework, tested it for super cheap, tested it in a 4-week program, tested it in a lot of different ways before we finally launched a 12-month program where we were walking women through this framework. So this all starts from it was January 2018 that I went onto the internet and told them that I was going to start a business. And it was July 2019 that I finally did my first significant launch of a group coaching program that created sustainable recurring income.
Yeah. I like it.